The National Broadcasting Company invites you to Showcase. NBC, in cooperation with the British Broadcasting Corporation, brings you another in its transcribed series of half-hour programs titled Showcase. Each week at this time, you will be entertained with one of Great Britain's top-rated programs. Near the end of our broadcast, we will ask for your critical reaction to today's offering. Today on Showcase, we hear a dramatic story from the 30-Minute Theater, a tale of the supernatural called Pussycat, Pussycat.
There's a Miss Gressler to see you. I've explained this out of the question, but she won't listen.
Has she an appointment?
No, she's just appeared out of the blue.
Tell her I can't possibly see her.
I have, but she refuses to budge.
Surely, Miss Adams, you can get rid of these women by now?
Oh, I know. I'm sorry, but she says it's desperately urgent. You must see her.
Has she a broken leg? Is she bleeding to death?
Well, she's rather pale, but that's probably just her colouring. She's very fair and ash blonde. Sort of slinky little creature with enormous green eyes.
Miss Adams, I am not inquiring about her type. I merely want to know whether or not she's in urgent need of medical attention. How did you get my name, anyway?
Well, she won't tell me.
Is she an old patient?
She says not. I certainly don't remember her.
Oh, very well. We'd better see her. We'll see what the trouble is. Ash blondes don't slink our way so often that we can afford to be blasé about them. Send her in.
Yes, Doctor. Miss Gressler, will you come this way, please? Dr. Halliday will see you now. Miss Gressler, sir. Dr. Halliday. Oh, please forgive me. I know it is not your custom to see patients in this way.
Sit down, Miss Gressler.
Thank you.
Is it about yourself you want to see me?
Yes, about myself. Thank you. It is most kind of you. I'm most grateful. Please forgive me.
You're not English?
No, I am from Austria.
Mm-hmm.
I shall explain. I have come for a time over here to learn the language and something of your country. I have worked with the family to help with the children.
The address, please?
The address? It is necessary to have...
Yes.
Oh, well, the name of the people is Hammond. They live at number 9... Number 9 Redwood Gardens.
Redwood...
Earl's Court.
Your full name?
Honey Gretler. Hani... Gretler.
Your age, Miss Gretler?
22 years.
Mm-hmm. Who gave you my name?
Oh, no one. Oh, I must be frank, no one. But now that I see you, I am more certain even than before that you are the man.
Oh, what man?
It is so hard to explain.
Nevertheless, I suggest you make the attempt.
Yes. In my mind, there is very clearly the picture of a street. A street with houses only on one side. On the other side is a park, very large and very beautiful. This street, Dr. Halliday.
Well?
About halfway down the street is a house painted white with door and windows of dark blue. On the first floor and on the ground floor are window boxes filled with crimson red tulips. This house. I have been searching for it for days and days. I have been nearly frantic. Then I remembered that I had come here from a main road with buses. I remember suddenly the number of a bus, 30. Mm-hmm. So today I travel on this bus, and at last, here is the park. Here the street, and here the house. Oh, the relief, I can't tell you the relief.
But I understood you hadn't been here before.
Oh, I have not exactly been here. Not in real life.
Not in what?
It was in a dream.
Oh.
Yes, now you think here is a mad woman.
Allow me to make my own diagnosis, Miss Gretler. Tell me about this dream.
I have dreamed it now for a week. Every night and always the same. It is terrifying. I am walking by myself down the street. I come to your house. I think, oh, but how attractive. I make to cross the road, but there is a car coming, so I wait. This car I see very distinctly. It is long and black with no hood, a sports car. Driving, there is a young man. He has a round pink face, a little check cap, and a yellow scarf round his neck. He is driving very much too fast.
I'm sure he is.
Then I see that the indicator of his car is standing out. He's going to turn the corner before he reaches me. I cross the road, but he doesn't turn. I hear the blast of his horn, a strange horn with different notes like music. There is a scream of break. Someone shouts. I feel no pain, only a terrible blow, as if I had fallen from a great height. For a moment there is silence. Then a man cries, "There is a doctor in the house with the tulips." But at this moment your door opens and a young woman comes out. She wears a white overall, and underneath it is showing a green dress. She calls out, "The doctor has gone away on his holiday, but she will telephone for an ambulance."
Well done, Miss Adams.
But it does not come. Your secretary brings a rug and puts it over me, and under my head a little pillow covered with green plastic. Here, look, on the couch there is a one.
Sit down, Miss Gretler. Don't excite yourself.
At last the ambulance comes. I hear your secretary say very angry to the driver, "The accident happened at 2 o'clock. It is now 20 past. He explains they were caught in a block of traffic. After that, I am going on a stretcher through some swing doors. Over them is written, "The Regency Hospital."
Mm-hmm.
There is such a place?
Yes, indeed. I'm on the staff there.
You see, only a dream, but the places are real. But now everything is confused. I know only that I have an operation, and I'm in bed, and people around me, doctor and nurses.
I hope the operation was successful.
No, it is not successful. Very soon over my face, the doctor draws the sheet. He says, "It was hopeless, loss of blood and shocks." I was dead. Don't you understand? I was dead.
Well, I wouldn't worry about it too much. But I'm afraid the interpretation of dreams is rather outside my scope. I'm a heart specialist. Who is your doctor?
Oh, it is no use to go to him. He cannot help me.
It's his job to help you, Miss Gretler.
No, Dr. Halliday, you haven't understood. I don't ask for an explanation of the dream or why I have it. I know the meaning of this dream. Wait, I tell you how I know. In the hall of the hospital was a big calendar. Do you know it, Dr. Halliday?
Yes, I hung it there.
It said the 10th of May. But look at this one on your desk.
Mm-hmm.
It says the 8th of May.
Oh, I see. You think all this is going to happen in 2 days' time?
I know.
Then on that particular day, why not avoid this street? Why not stay in bed?
Some things are meant to be. But in the dream, you remember, I'm lying in the road without treatment for 20 minutes. That is the reason I died. I'm sure of it.
Very likely.
I died because you were on your holiday. But if you were here, I would be saved. I know. I have a most strong feeling about it. I am convinced.
There's nothing I can do about that.
I want you to come back from wherever you are for just that time, 2 o'clock.
Come back? I shall be in Holland, Miss Gretler.
Holland? Oh. Doesn't this prove that the dream is true? You are going away.
It's purely coincidence.
Coincidence?
I always go away at this time.
I was not to know. How could I know? When do you go? What day?
The 10th, by the 3 o'clock plane.
Oh, no. No, please. You can get a later plane. To lose a plane is nothing. To lose a life is... Oh, please, you must stay.
Oh, very well. All right. But in the meantime, I want you to see your own doctor. And see him today, without fail. What's his name?
Oh, he's a doctor of the Hammonds. Wilson, Dr. George Wilson.
Where does he live?
53 St. George's Street, SW5. Oh, you are so good, Dr. Halliday. I don't know what to say. Thank you so much.
But before you go, Miss Gretler, may I, as a point of medical interest, take your pulse?
If you wish.
Thank you.
2 o'clock. How strange it should be, 2 o'clock. It is steady, my pulse?
As a rock.
That's unusual.
In the circumstances, very.
You have calmed me. I trust you so much. Oh, don't bother to see me out. I can find a way. Goodbye, Dr. Halliday. Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Miss Gretler. Hello, Miss Adams. Still here? Nearly 8 o'clock.
Just finished. I fixed your plane ticket for the 10th and ordered you a taxi for 1:30.
Thank you. Did Dr. Wilson ring up?
Wilson?
Miss Gretler's man.
Oh, no, he didn't.
Oh, try and get him, will you, before you go? Then put him through on this phone.
Have you got his telephone number?
It's here somewhere. Here it is.
Oh, thank you.
The last thing I want is to have to fight my way to the airport through a barricade of ash blondes.
Dr. Wilson there, please? Oh, thank you. I have a call for you. Dr. Wilson's on the phone now, sir.
Oh, thank you. Dr. Wilson, Malcolm Halliday here. One of your patients came to see me this afternoon, and I referred her back to you. Has she been in yet? An Austrian girl, Hanni Gretler. Hanni Gretler. Never heard of her? She lives with some people called Hammond, who she claims are also patients of yours? They're not. Uh-huh. No, it doesn't matter. Sorry to have troubled you. Thanks very much. Goodbye. Yes, I thought she was a liar. If that dream isn't the invention of a fertile Good heavens. Miss Adams?
Yes?
Did you see that car?
What car?
That one that just passed with that extraordinary horn.
No. Or should I have?
Oh, I only wondered if you noticed what it looked like.
Why? Oh, the horn. The dream. Oh, but you know, I've heard that horn before, sort of subconsciously, without exactly registering it.
Yes, so have I. I don't want to alarm you, Miss Adams, but I'm having a little presentiment of my own. A presentiment that we are not finished with Miss Hanni Gretler.
I'm afraid your presentiments come true, Doctor. Miss Gretler's here. What shall I...
Send her in. I want to see this young woman.
Very well. Will you come this way, please, Miss Gretler?
You lied to me yesterday. You are going on that plane tomorrow.
You lied to me.
Only about the doctor?
Who is your doctor?
I haven't one. It is you. I need you.
I shan't be available.
How can I make you believe me? All I ask is that you delay your journey for a few hours. 1 hour.
There's no need to cry about it.
There is need. There is need for me. It is I who will die, not you. Not you or the young man in his fine black car with his beautiful motorhome.
It won't help to upset yourself. Sit down. Come along.
Thank you. 2 o'clock. Again it is 2. When it strikes again in the daylight, I shall be dying.
Very well, Miss Gretler. I'll stay. I don't say I believe your story, but I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. I'll stay.
Thank you. Oh, is this your cat?
Yes.
Hello, pussy.
Don't pick her up, Miss Gretler. She'll scratch you. She doesn't like strangers.
Oh, she will not scratch me. Oh, really? She's purring.
Well, I'm blessed. I've never known her do that before.
Do you know that the spirits of the dead return in the bodies of cats?
I've heard of it as a superstition here.
Superstition? You think it's that? I will tell you something, Dr. Halliday. At home, I live in a little village in the mountains. In the river there, my great-grandmother was drowned by the people because they said she was a witch. The very instant that she died, there appeared from nowhere, on the bank of the river, a white cat. And from that day to this, it is still alive. From time to time, there appear others. They are quite wild and do terrible damage. But nothing will kill them. Nothing. Now no one dares to touch them anymore.
Cats have the knack of multiplying.
Among the white cats of my village, Dr. Halliday, there has never once been seen a kitten, because they are all females. They are called the White Witches of Geyser.
Well, I won't argue the point.
Now no one dares to touch them anymore.
Do you feel better now?
Yes, quite, thank you. I must go. Oh, don't trouble to come to the door. You know I can find the way. You are going to stay and help me, aren't you?
Yes, I'll stay. Don't worry.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Miss Adams.
Goodbye, Miss Gretler. From her expression, I judge she got round you.
Oh, well, Miss Adams, her great-grandma is a cat.
Oh, I see. That explains everything.
Meow.
She would seem to have made an impression.
She would, Miss Adams. She would indeed. I'm quite fascinated to know what she'll think up next.
Now, you're not going to miss your plane, are you?
Not if I can help it. I thought I'd go and see the Hammonds.
Yes?
Oh, good afternoon. Is this the Hammonds' house?
Yes, but Mummy's out. She's shopping. She won't be long.
Is your father in?
No, not till this evening.
Oh, dear. I wonder if I might wait. I very much want to see your parents about Miss Hanni Gretler.
Honey? Honey, did you say?
Yes, she's been to see me once or twice during the last 2 days, and I very much... Hey! Well, what on earth's the matter now?
he behave like that?
I don't know. I can't imagine. He was plainly terrified.
They've had trouble with her before, that's what it is. He probably thought you were the police. Why don't they send her home? There's something about her I don't like at all. Something sly and nasty. She's up to some game.
Yes, there's not much doubt about that. You better try to get me onto a later plane, will you?
Oh, no.
She's planning something for 2 o'clock tomorrow, and I must know what it is. Don't ask me why. I don't know myself. I just must.
Good morning, Miss Adams.
Oh, you did give me a fright. How did you get in?
I let myself in to save you the work.
I didn't hear the door.
I moved very softly.
Miss Gretler, just precisely what are you up to?
Do you always address the doctor's patients in this way?
I don't count you as a patient. I count you as the type of girl I address in exactly this way. Always.
A type, you say?
It's not unusual for doctors, particularly when they're good-looking bachelors like Dr. Halliday, to be pestered by neurotic exhibitionists.
You're jealous, aren't you? Am I treading on your sacred ground, Miss Secretary? Perhaps you don't go about him in the right way. Men are so easy, Miss Adams, if you know how.
They're not so easy, Miss Gretler, that you can afford to make the sort of mistake you've made.
Mistake?
I suddenly remembered last night something you said about your dream. You said I was wearing a green dress. I haven't a green dress. I never wear green.
Maybe. But the girl in the dream was still wearing a green dress. For the good reason, Miss Adams, that she was not you. She was completely different, a big, fat girl with red hair. I don't know who she is, but she is not you.
Dr. Halliday is hardly likely to get a new secretary between now and 2 o'clock this afternoon, even to please you.
We shall see. Now, will you go and tell him I'm here?
Well, I can't promise he'll see you. She's here, Dr. Halliday.
Oh.
Dream girl.
Toss her in, Miss Adams.
Miss Gretler, come along.
Oh, Miss Adams.
I'll be gracious when you say toss her out.
Hello, Doctor.
I shall be in the hall, sir, if you need me.
Mm-hmm. Miss Gretler, I called on the Hammonds yesterday. The door was opened by a small boy. As soon as I mentioned your name, he slammed it again. Why?
Oh, well, that was you. Oh, David, he's a very nervous boy. Come, Dr. Halliday, you must not worry about me. Wait until 2 o'clock and you will understand. It is not very long now. Just wait.
You're a very persuasive young woman.
Am I? That young man in the black car. I wonder if he has had a dream, too. Does he know what we know? I wonder.
If he does, he may have the sense to travel on foot.
Sense? Men like him have no sense. They can't even speak the truth. After the accident, I could hear his voice crying over and over again. It was her own fault. She ran in front of the car. I couldn't help it. She ran in front of the car. Oh, it's a lie, Dr. Halliday. It was his fault. He should be the one to pay, not I. It is he who should be killed, not I.
You're not going to be killed, Miss Gretler. Don't work yourself up.
No, of course not. I forget myself. I shall go now. I just wanted to see you again. You so reassure me. We shall meet at 2 o'clock. Auf Wiedersehen.
What? Goodbye. Well, I'm blessed.
That was quick.
She's mad.
You know, I think you should tell the police.
Huh? It's no crime to dream.
Dream? That girl's been hunting you for weeks, I'm sure of it. She's seen you somewhere, been attractive.
Where? Where would she see
Well,
me?
I've had an idea. What about the hospital? She's been an inpatient there.
It's possible.
Look, you've got to call at the hospital before you go to see your registrar. Why not go down to the records office and check? Why not go now?
Yes. Yes, I think I will.
Good morning, sir.
Morning, Crocker. I want to trace an old patient. I haven't got her number, but her name's Gretler. Gretler.
I'll have a look, sir. What's her first name, sir?
Honey. Hani.
G-R-A-G-R-E... Gretler, yes, here we are. Hanny Gretler, age 22, single.
That's the one. Must be. When was she in?
Admitted May the 10th, 1952.
May the 10th.
Yes, sir. That's odd. A year ago today. What a coincidence.
Who was she under? Kennedy. Must have been an accident case. Yes, injured motor accident. Ah, so that's it. She's been pestering me now for 3 days, Crocker. And why are you staring?
Well, there must be some mistake, sir, if you say you've seen her recently.
Why should there be?
Well, according to the records, sir, she's dead.
Dead?
Yes, she died on the same day that she came in from shock and hemorrhage. On the same day that she came in, May the 10th.
There's no mistake, Miss Adams. She was knocked down by a car a year ago today at 2 o'clock outside this house. It was all exactly as she described.
But we've seen her, both of us, talk to her. Well, you can't be implying she's a ghost.
No, of course not. She's obviously not Hanny Gretler. She's an imposter. Or you'd have recognized her.
Me? But I wasn't here last May. I was ill. You had that temporary girl. I never saw her. What did she look like? Was she a big, fat girl with red hair?
Yes, why?
And she wore green?
Every shade of it. Why?
Oh, it's Hanny Gretler, all right. That's the girl she described. No one else could know so much. But what is she? What does she want?
My dear Miss Adams, how should I know?
And what's the time? 1:30. You've still time to catch that plane. I'll call a taxi. You're all ready.
But you cancelled my seat.
I didn't. No, I didn't. I thought I'd leave it to the last minute.
No, I can't go. I can't possibly go now.
You must go, Doctor. You're not to be here at 2 o'clock. It isn't safe. I don't know what she's up to, but it's you she's after. Now get your things. I'm going to get you a taxi.
Oh, all right. If you're going to make a fuss, I'll go.
I'll stay and see what happens. She's got nothing against me. Oh, no, shush. Go away. Look out. Shh.
What's the matter?
Oh, nothing. Just a cat. Must have come in after Blackie. Little white cat, that's all.
A white cat?
Yes. Oh, my goodness. It's only coincidence.
Taxi! Taxi!
Yes. Perhaps I won't stay after all.
I wish we hadn't done this. I've got a frightful urge to go back, just to see if anything does happen.
I don't expect anything will, really.
What's the time? 1:45. We might just do it, yes. Look, I'll drop you off here, Miss Adams, and go back.
If you go, I'm coming too.
Very well, but yes, all right. Driver, turn back, will you? I've forgotten something. Hurry.
Oh, good, we've just done it.
What is it now?
2 minutes to. Never realized that clock had such a loud tick. Must send you mad, doesn't it?
I never notice it. In the ordinary way. Cigarette?
I don't really smoke. Yes, I think I will, please. Thanks.
Only 1 minute to go. I don't believe anything's going to happen. If she was an exhibitionist in life, she'll be an exhibitionist in death. She only wants to create a sensation. Listen, the horn. Well, it's not coming down here. That's the crucial moment gone. Phew.
Sorry. Dr. Halliday, come back.
Honey! Honey! Oh, Lord. Where's the girl?
Girl? It's not a girl, sir. It's a man.
Now, the girl he's run down.
No, he didn't run no one down. He went into the lamppost.
Huh?
Oh, I seen it. I was standing right here.
Where is he?
Let him through. He's a doctor.
Oh, he's got here. Go on, get out of the way. Let him through. The doctor.
It's the same car, the one she said.
Oh, looked like he'd had it to me. Is he dead, Doctor?
Yes. Who is he? Does anyone know?
I don't know who he is, but I've often seen him.
He used to come down this way every day. Yeah. He was in an accident here before.
What happened this time?
Oh, it was a cat what ran across the road. He swerved and went into the post. There it is, that white one. It was sitting on your step or washing its face. Suddenly shot right into the road. Go on, get out of it, you blooming. Go on, get off. Yeah. Ooh, what's the matter, sir? Is it yours?
No. No, she's not mine. I'll call an ambulance.
You have just heard Pussycat, Pussycat, a story of the supernatural, produced and transcribed for the BBC's 30-Minute Theater by David H. Godfrey. Did you enjoy today's edition of Showcase? Would you like us to broadcast a full series of the 30-Minute Theater? Or would you prefer listening to another one of England's top-rated shows? Let us know, won't you? We are most anxious to receive your comments. Your letters may determine the type of program we will present in a full series after our initial 13-week broadcast of Showcase. Just write to Showcase, NBC, New York 20, New York. Let us know whether or not you would like to hear a full series of the 30-Minute Theater. Next week at this time, Showcase will bring you one of England's most unusual documentations, titled Spiders. You will hear a full account of their courtship, their family cares, their enemies, and their hunt for food. This is Gene Hamilton. We will expect you next Saturday for Showcase. The National Broadcasting Company invites you to Showcase. NBC, in cooperation with the British Broadcasting Corporation, brings you another in its transcribed series of half-hour programs titled Showcase. Each week at this time, you will be entertained with one of Great Britain's top-rated programs. Near the end of our broadcast, we will ask for your critical reaction to today's offering. And now we will hear one of England's most popular variety programs, Take It From Here.
Take it from here. Don't go away when you can take it from here. Why don't you stay and maybe join in the fun now? The show has begun. Half an hour of laughter beckons, every minute packed with seconds.
For the next 30 minutes, it's Take It From Here with Joy Nichols, Dick Bentley, and Jimmy Edwards. Other words and music will be heard from Wallace Eaton, Herbert Mostin, and the keynotes, and we have the augmented BBC Variety Orchestra conducted by Paul Fennelly. So if you're receiving us loud and clear,
Take it from here.
Sale by auction. At Messrs. Northerby's on Thursday, at the direction of Mr. Richard Makepeace Bentley, will be auctioned an exquisite collection of rare stamps. The stamps can be purchased en bloc or separately at 9p a thousand.
Well, Jimmy, there you are. If Dick can do it, you can too. Why don't you start a collection?
Well, I don't fancy taking the box round this audience. Oh, dear. Look at them.
No, my stamp collection.
Oh.
Why don't you go along to the auction and put in a bid?
Oh, not likely. Do you know, the last auction I went to, I just happened to clear my throat, and the next thing I knew, I was the owner of a well-worn walnut whatnot. Besides, I don't see anything in this collection business.
It's a wonderful hobby. Everybody collects something.
Oh, yeah?
Edward G. Robertson collects paintings. George Sanders collects first editions. James Mason collects cats. Then there's Errol Flynn.
Yes, but it becomes a sort of a mania. You know, I know a girl who collects ivory. She tried to marry Terry Thomas for his teeth.
Yes, Dick, what is it about collecting? What's the big appeal in just hoarding things?
Well, it's absorbing. Oh, when I think of the happy hours I've spent, my dog at my side, sticking thousands of stamps per evening.
But what does it leave you with, Dick?
An empty stamp packet and a spaniel with a dry tongue. Oh, I had a wonderful collection.
Really?
Thousands. I gave away most of my British Empire.
Well, that's fashionable anyway. But are these stamps worth anything?
Oh, they can be. For example, if you've got an unperforated triangular Zanzibar, you're worth a fortune.
Oh, I'd rather have my health.
Well, tell me, why are you selling your stamps now, Dick?
Well, for the last couple of years, I've been collecting something else.
Dust?
What I'm collecting is objets d'art. Antique furniture, mainly. I'm concentrating on Louis Carthorse.
Louis XIV.
Him as well. Oh, there's a wonderful aesthetic appreciation in the craftsmanship of that era, which I find infinitely satisfying. I think I should have been born in the 18th century.
It was a near miss, Bentley. But where are you getting the money to buy all this expensive furniture?
Well, from the sale of my stamps. Oh, I had a stroke of luck. A bloke sold me a whole set of unused North Hebridean Islands, only £1 each.
North Hebridean Islands. There isn't such a stamp.
There is, you know, Joy. Look, here's one.
Show.
Yes?
Oh, yes.
See? It's got a little blue and red shield and NHI on top. Now, what do you think I should get for them?
About 18 months.
18 months?
Yes, those are National Health Insurance stamps.
Whippoorwill out on a hill, they took a new nose, pushed it through a horn till it was worn into a blue nose, and then they nursed it, rehearsed it, and gave out the news that the Southland gave birth to the blues. From a whippoorwill out on a hill, they took a new note, pushed it through a horn till it was worn into a blue note, and then they nursed it, rehearsed it, and gave out the news that the Southland gave birth to the blues. That's the story of the birth of the blues.
And over on the left, ladies and gentlemen, we have a unique opportunity of seeing our welfare state in operation. There goes old Mrs. Jones to collect her widow's pension of 32 6, followed by Frau Thyssen and her daughter to collect their 26 million quid. Passing to the Japanese section,
Well,
we
it's Wall.
Ah.
Say, Wall, how's this building, this Coronation Night street party getting on?
Oh, what a job, Jim. Everything's got to be organised, right down to the last spoonful of bicarbonate. We're going to have a decorated fertiliser barge floating up and down a canal, like a pleasure boat.
Yes, I suppose it will be.
Your mum was supposed to launch it, and we couldn't make her let go of the bottle.
What are you going to decorate the barge with, Wal?
Well, we did knock off 4 dozen of them little triangular flags. Some dishonest person pinched them.
Got any idea who did it?
Well, I'm not saying. All I know is when Mrs. Wilson's baby bends over, it doesn't half look colourful.
Wallace, on this fertilizer barge, what are the amenities?
Oh, well, we got dancing on the after deck, waltzes, tangos, velitas, and your dad, Jim, will be demonstrating his new step, the exercise yard shuffle. For the young people, there's be swimming. They'll be able to dive off the side.
How high is the deck from the water, Wal?
Now, that depends on how the pumps are working. But for the older people, there'll be the building's version of the popular television game, Down You Go.
What's that?
We sew lead weights in the landlord's swimming trousers. Then at midnight we have a spit on the captain's bridge.
Mutiny?
No, a spit for roasting.
Oh, a spit for
yeah.
roasting, yeah.
Instead of roasting an ox, we're going one better.
Oh.
We're going to roast a whole African water buffalo.
How on earth did you get hold of an African water buffalo?
It's a long story. It started when Mr. George Cansdale was having a wash and brush up at Paddington Station. He hung his jacket with the keys in on an hook just as Jim's brother come in. Oh, very well then. But it'll be a night of up Britain, long live freedom, and hush, hush, whisper who dares. Edith and Bessie are sleeping upstairs.
And now the type's topic for the week.
Type's topic. We read... Forward, Mr... Oh, no, we're doing it today, aren't we? We read a bit in the paper last Monday about a quiz program on American radio which hit on a new idea. For first prize, the contestant won the announcer.
Yes, it's quite true. The winner got him for a week. The announcer had to go and stay at his house. So we thought, suppose the BBC tried the same stunt. Suppose a listener got awarded a BBC announcer.
Oh, hello, Mr. Daniel. If you'd slip your Mac off.
Oh, thank you.
Come through to the living room. I've got some friends waiting who are dying to meet you. Here we are, friends. Our Ethel's prize for sending in the first correct answer to the Radio Times crossword puzzle. David Daniel himself. How do you do? This is Mr. Crocker. Mrs. Winstanley. Mr. and Mrs. Oldcliffe. Mrs. Gran. Gran! This is David Daniel from the Wireless. Oh, look at her smiling and nodding here. She thinks it's supper time, silly old fool.
Daniel, Jackson's my name.
How do you do, Jack?
How do you do? Jack, out to me, friends. This is my eldest girl, Loretta. Stop chewing your beads, Loretta. Go on. Ask him what you want to ask him.
Well, what is it, Loretta?
Oh, no, she's gone shy. Yeah, she wanted you to say, this is the light programme and General Overseas Service of the BBC.
Oh, well, yes, I should like it.
Well, quiet, everybody. Quiet. Belt up for Dave. The floor's yours, Dave.
Go on, Dave, boy.
Well, this is the light programme and General Overseas Service of the BBC.
That's very good, Dave. There, Loretta. Loretta, if you don't stop that, you'll stay like it.
Isn't it marvellous? She's in a world of her own, you know.
Dave, tell me, one thing I've always wondered. When you read the 1 o'clock news, do you have your lunch before or after? Or do you have sandwiches during?
Well, generally I have it before.
Go on.
See, otherwise, by the time I get to the canteen, the main dish is off.
Oh, you have a canteen then? Fancy. I don't know, somehow I never thought of announcers as eating.
Dave, on that point, something occurs to me. If you have to bolt your lunch before and then read off all that muck directly after every meal, do you ever get, a bit of a comeback? The return of the sausage, as it was?
Oh, Les, what a question. We're not all like you.
Well, these things have got to be fate. It's only nature, isn't it?
Well, of course, if such a thing did happen, we should simply apologize. And we'd say, I beg your pardon.
Well, that's something that never occurred to me. I can see we're going to learn a lot from you over this week, Dave. Yeah.
How about having the 9 o'clock news on, Les? Get the weather.
Well, we'll have the news at... Well, wait a minute. Why have the wireless news on when we've got our own announcer here? Yeah. Go on, Dave. Give us the 9 o'clock news. Go on, then. Go on.
But I don't know the 9 o'clock news.
Well, read a bit from the evening paper. Yeah. Come on.
Quiet for Dave.
Go on, Dave.
Dave, I want to speak up a bit so Gran can hear. Here, read this bit here. This one, yes.
I have worn the new pencil fashion skirt, and although it may be a success in Paris, I cannot see it catching on with British women.
Well, that was a week to remember, wasn't it, eh? He was a real nice lad, that Dunny, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He ate with us, he went out with us, he kept grand company and
He's on tonight, you know, he said. Oh, let's hear him. It's different when somebody's been one of the family for 7 whole days. Switch on, Les.
Right.
This is the BBC Home Service. Saturday Night Theatre presents Ed a Dabbler by Hibson.
Tell me a story, tell me a story, tell me a story. Remember what you said. Tell me about the birds and bees. How do you make a chicken sneeze? Tell me a story, and then I'll go to bed.
Oh, worry, worry, weary end my day. Comes the time to go home without my raise in pay. Home by the fire where a man can just relax. Slippers there by the chair, not a worry, nor a care. Along comes Junior, swinging his little axe.
Uncle Jimmy, tell me a story.
Shut up.
Tell me a story.
Shut up.
Tell me a story. Remember what you said.
Oh, dear.
Tell me how your eye got black because the doorway hit your back. Tell me a story, and then I'll go to bed.
All right, once upon a time, I remember long ago.
Oh, now don't go back in history. Your memory's kind of slow.
Stop your noisy talking till I finish with my tale. Once upon a...
Upon a what?
Upon your back, you'll get a swat.
Tell me about the fish you caught that's bigger than a whale.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Tell me a story. Tell me a story. Tell me a story. Remember what you said.
Yes.
You promised me you said you would. You gotta give in, so I'll be good.
Here's a tale you won't forget.
Ow! 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 My tail's all red.
And now get up to bed.
Oh, gee, tell me another story, Uncle Jimmy.
All right, I'll tell you the story about a horrid little boy who kept pestering his uncle until he shot him.
No, 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 no! Remember what you said.
Oh, dear.
Tell me how your eye got black because the doorway hit your back. Tell me a story, and then I'll go to bed.
All right, once upon a time, I remember long ago.
Oh, now don't go back in history. Your memory's kind of slow.
Stop your noisy talking till I finish with my tale. Once upon a...
Upon a what?
Upon your back, you'll get a swat.
Tell me about the fish you caught that's bigger than a whale.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
Tell me a story. Tell me a story. Tell me a story. Remember what you said.
Yes.
You promised me you said you would. You gotta give in, so I'll be good.
Here's a tale you won't forget.
Ow! 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 My tail's all red.
And now get up to bed.
Oh, gee, tell me another story, Uncle Jimmy.
All right, I'll tell you the story about a horrid little boy who kept pestering his uncle until he shot him.
No, 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 no!
So we come to the TIFE Film Award, the TIFE Oscar. And this week it's the Don't You Realize That the Earth is Being Invaded by Hostile Creatures from Another Planet, all of them armed with strange, deadly weapons against which mankind has no defense, so that the whole of our world is in danger of being enslaved by these alien monsters from outer space? Type of tripe?
Yes, it's Hollywood's newest plot. We've had several recent films showing us what is likely to happen if invaders from Mars land their spaceships on American soil.
Our Tosca-winning film shows what would happen if Martians had the infernal impudence to land on British soil. Ladies and gentlemen, we present Of Martian Men, or Here's a Thing. April the 15th, 1964, it happened. From the black night sky there was a rush, a whoosh, a screaming blaze of light, and a great saucer-shaped object hurled itself into the peaceful earth of a Stoke Newington back garden.
A moment of silence. Then from inside came a scrabbling noise. A hatch lifted and something snaked out. A scaly, groping tentacle with claws and a great hairy...
Wait a minute, Wallace. Bentley, come out of that cupboard. It's only a story.
The Martians had arrived. The first intimation the government had was the report from Albert Clamp, the Stoke Newington man in whose back garden the spaceship fell. The following morning, he arrived at the office of the Home Secretary, Sir Smedley Blatherly.
And just finished the letter by saying that as regards the damage to the statue in Trafalgar Square, I'm afraid that's not my pigeon. Then finish yours affect the on-sec. Oh, dear, the phone again. I won't keep you a moment, Mr. Clamp. Hello? Blathering here. Oh, it's you, Winnie. Yes, another late do last night, what, eh? Hey, you lost your garter? Well, I haven't got it. Goodbye.
Was that the Prime Minister?
No, it was one of the girls in the typing pool, you know. Man's not made of wood. No, Mr. Clamp, you wanted to see me?
Oh, sir, it's awful, sir. There is a thing at the bottom of my garden.
Oh, my dear fellow, lots of old houses are built like that.
No, sir. I don't mean the potting shed.
Oh, promise.
Sir, I know you'll say I'm off me nut, but, sir, a spaceship from another planet has landed on my rhubarb.
The deuce it has.
Last night, sir, my wife Ada saw it come down, sir.
Did she?
Yes, she went out to try and chuck it over into the garden next door. We don't get on very well with the people next door. He's a Major Prendergast, sir,
Yes.
late Indian Army. Very toppy-nosed.
Yes, yes.
Many's the time I've said to him, look here, Major, you can't talk to me like I was your number one boy.
Yes. Get on about the weird, unearthly monster.
Well, I told you, sir, Ada went out to have a deco. Then from the spaceship, a sort of tentacle came out, pointed a kind of tube at her. There was a flash. And my Ada, she was just a little pile of grey dust. I don't know what to make of it, sir.
Well, how about an egg timer?
Oh, sir, there are dozens of monsters on the spaceship, sir.
Oh.
What are they, sir? What are they?
Keep a cool head. Don't clamp, my dear Panic. I'll send for the Home Office biologist. Ask Miss Caldecott to come up. She's a very clever woman, this Miss Caldecott. A blue stocking, you know.
A blue stocking?
Yes, she keeps her fountain pen clipped to her nylons.
You sent for me, Sir Smedley?
Oh, yes. Now, what was it I wanted you for?
The Martian's landing.
Yes, you're getting hysterical, Mr. Clamp. I have to advise you, Miss Caldecott, that incredible though it may seem, the ultimate catastrophe is upon us.
The auditors have arrived?
The Martians, miss. Unearthly creatures, all scaly and horrible. Horrible, miss, horrible.
Oh, control yourself, man. Sir Smedley, give me the salient facts in terms that a scientist can assimilate.
Well, I see. They've turned his wife into an egg timer and ruined his rhubarb.
Oh, I'm sorry I rounded on you, Clamp. It must have been a pretty grievous blow.
I can't believe it. How can I keep going without me stewed rhubarb?
But you've lost your wife.
Well, it's nice of you to try and cheer me up, miss. All I want is to see these creatures destroyed. Destroy them before they destroy us.
Sir Smedley, I have just come from analyzing the Martian invaders, and I have discovered they are an oxygen-breathing form of organic life.
Oh, they are awful.
Yes. Physically, they're 18 feet tall, and their eyes wave above the top of their heads on stalks.
By Jiminy, they're absolutely built for coronation watching.
They have completely annihilated Stoke Newington and are advancing on Dalston Junction, wiping out everything in their path.
Sir Smedley, you must mobilize the army.
Send out jet bombers.
Warn the world.
But it's 5 to 5. Can't it wait till the morning?
Sir Smedley, the world must know now.
This is the Light Program and Overseas Service of the BBC. Here is an announcement of vital urgency. Our country is being invaded by the planet of Mars. All listeners are warned to stand by their radio sets, and the BBC will issue communiques at 15-minute intervals. Meanwhile, here is a record of Charlie Coons playing a medley from White Horse Inn. For just a moment, we interrupt the record to give you another report. At this moment, a hushed House of Commons is listening anxiously to the Home Secretary, Sir Smedley Blathery.
The hooks in the cloakroom have definitely been swiped by somebody. No. Order, please. And now, Mr. Speaker, I come to the grave matter about which the whole world is deeply concerned, and which the members of this House have quite rightly...
Wait a minute. Whoa, back. I've broken the lead of my pencil. Nothing on there. Give us a chance to sharpen it.
I'm sorry, Mr. Hansard. Now, Mr. Speaker, I have been in conference with my expert advisors all afternoon.
What about the Martians?
I'm coming to that. If the honourable member would stop ogling Miss Pat Hornby-Smith and pay attention for a bit, maybe we'd get on a bit faster. Mr. Speaker, I have brought to the House Mr. Albert Clamp himself.
Well, Your Honour, all I can say is that I never had a fair chance. Once them coppers get their knife into you...
Clamp! Are you talking about this isn't a court? Perhaps Miss Caldecott had better tell the House the whole situation.
The situation is that the Martians are invincible. It's true. It's quite true. They have this ray, a ray which induces a feeling of complete numbness.
But what sort of ray is it that induces complete numbness?
Don't worry, Ted. We resisted the temptation. But, Mildred, Miss Caldecott, how can we hit back at them?
We have no way of hitting back. We're powerless against them. All we can do is surrender.
Surrender? You ask Britain to give in? Never. Mr. Speaker, honourable members, I think I am conveying the spirit of the House when I say that this is ridiculous. Is this the spirit of Drake? Drake, the finest centre-forward Arsenal ever had? Surely there must be something that can kill the Martians and Marchionesses.
I've got the answer. I alone can save the world.
Who said that?
Me, Albert Clamp.
Oh, thank heavens, I thought it was Renarin Bevan. You have the answer?
Sir Smed, I've been having a big think.
You have?
I have. The only dead Martians are the ones that landed in my garden. And I think I know why. The Martians are susceptible to rhubarb.
The Martians?
By jingo, it could be. It is possible for certain organic chemicals to affect their Martian metabolism. With rhubarb, you get hyperphosphate alkali and biturated potash.
Really? I get custard with mine. Mr. Speaker, honourable members, you realize what this means? Rhubarb is the way to save the world.
Now the scientists sprang into action. The finest brains in England blueprinted the rhubarb bomb. Sir John Cockcroft, Frank Whittle, Dr. Penny, with the technical assistance of Philip Harben. The situation was now desperate. New York had gone down magnificently. The south of France was overrun. The Bahamas were lost. It began to look as though the dockers would have to spend their next holiday at Westgate. Then word came that the rhubarb bomb was ready. It was a very grave Home Secretary who took his place in the observation trench, facing the oncoming Martians.
I'm sorry I'm late. I had to wash my shirt. I'm on in the news on Friday. Now, this is it, isn't it? All set, Dr. Caldecott?
All set. In that bomb, there are 400 tons of concentrated stewed rhubarb.
Without sugar.
Makes me tongue go all funny.
The destruction will take place in exactly 3 minutes.
But how will we know when that is? We haven't got a watch.
Don't worry. I've brought me egg timer.
Well, hurry up. They're advancing towards us.
Right. I'll give Ada a bit of a tap. Now. That's it. Now.
It's worked. Look at them reeling and staggering.
No. Don't get out of the trench. The whole area is still rhubarb active.
Look, they're taking their spaceship. They're flying away.
We've won. The world is saved thanks to you, Mildred.
Mildred.
I'm talking to him. Thanks to your ingenuity, the Martians have gone. All that remains of their stay here are those strange ray guns with which they've reduced so many of us to little heaps of dust.
I reckon we should keep them ray guns as souvenirs of the greatest peril the world has ever known.
I absolutely concur.
Well concurred. In that case, you too shall have this one to keep for yourselves.
Oh, tar it. Very nice.
Take it. But do be careful not to press this little knob where my finger is resting, because the slightest pressure will release it. Oh, somebody fetch the vacuum cleaner.
Fenelon and the augmented BBC Variety Orchestra bring our recorded show to a close. Those involved were Joy Nichols, Dick Bentley and Professor Jimmy Edwards, encouraged by Wallace Eaton, Herbert Mostyn and the keynotes. Frank Muir and Dennis Norton wrote the script, and the program was produced by Charles Maxwell. Joy, Dick and Jimmy invite you to take it
funny.
Did you enjoy today's edition of Showcase? Would you like us to broadcast one of these variety programs each week? Or would you prefer listening to another one of England's top-rated shows? Let us know, as we are most anxious to receive your comments. Your letters may determine the type of program we will present in a full series after our initial 13-week broadcast of Showcase. So write to Showcase, NBC, New York 20, New York, and let us know whether or not you would like to hear a series of variety programs such as we offered on today's broadcast. Next week at this time, Showcase will bring you a true story of a famous trial at Old Bailey in 1911, Prisoner at the Bar. This is Gene Hamilton. We'll be expecting you next Saturday for Showcase. The National Broadcasting Company invites you to Showcase. NBC, in cooperation with the British Broadcasting Corporation, brings you another in its transcribed series of half-hour programs titled Showcase. In answer to your many requests, we present another of England's top-rated programs. Today on Showcase, we will hear a play from the 30-Minute Theater by Richard Baldwin, titled The Chain.
Good gracious me, what a lot of people.
The Epsom train calling at Mitcham Junction will leave from platform 9.
Oh dear, I'm sure I'll never get on the right train. Now, let me see.
The Eastbourne and Hastings train will leave from platform 15.
Yes, well, that may be, but I don't want to go to Eastbourne or Hastings. I want the Brighton line. I suppose I'd better ask. Excuse me, sir, but are you a member of the railway staff?
No, Governor, I'm afraid not. I'm Navy.
Oh, dear me, I am sorry.
No, that's all right, Governor. Do you want something carried? I've got a few minutes to spare.
Now, isn't that kind of you? But no, my young friend, I have nothing to carry, thank you. But perhaps you would tell me which platform I go to for the Brighton line. I really can't be expected to understand that great indicator thing. Now, if Amy were here, she would be
Amy?
My wife, Amy Winkle. I'm Stephen Winkle.
Oh, pleased to know you, Mr. Winkle.
How do you do?
Well, now, let's see. The Brighton line. Fast or slow?
I don't really know. Fast, I suppose, if it means I get home quicker.
There's a fast train in about 10 minutes. Platform 12.
Well, thank you. You are kind. May I buy you a cup of tea?
No, Governor, I'll buy you one. Look, here's the trolley.
Good gracious, what will they think of next?
2 cups, please, miss.
With or without?
Are you speaking to me?
Yep. With or without?
I beg your pardon?
With or without?
With or without what?
Get him. Sugar.
Oh, I see. Yes, of course. Sugar. 2 lumps, please.
Sailor boy?
Without. Thanks. Do you live in Brighton, Mr. Winkle?
Dear me, no. Oh, I'd be quite lost in such a big city. Oh, no, we live in Brimley.
Near Brighton, eh?
7 or 8 miles, I understand.
You take the train to Brighton?
Oh, no, to Essex. Amy meets me there in the trap.
But the fast Brighton trains don't stop at Essex, Mr. Winkle.
Oh, I think they will. You know, young man, this is a great day for me.
Really?
Yes, is this really tea, young lady?
That's what you asked for, wasn't it?
Oh, yes. Quite a different taste to our tea at home. Quite different. But then Amy and I probably drink rather an old-fashioned brand. Well, now, what was I saying?
You said this was a great day for you.
Oh, yes, it is indeed. Do you know I've done two things today I've never done before in my whole life?
Oh, nothing naughty, I hope, Mr. Winkle.
Oh, no. No, this is the first time I've ever been to London town.
You mean to say you live in Sussex and...
All my life.
And you've never been to London before?
Never.
Well... And what's the second thing, Mr. Winkle?
I've never travelled on a train before.
Well, blow me down. You can't have been around much, then.
Oh, yes, my dear boy, all over Sussex. And though I don't say much to Amy for fear she should worry, I do venture over the border from time to time.
The border?
Into Surrey, you know.
You want to be careful.
Oh, yes, I am. Very careful. I should like to know what brand this tea is. It has the quality of making one not want another cup. It would help us to economize, you know. Oh, well, I did enjoy that very much. I'm most obliged.
It's a pleasure, Mr. Winkle.
You haven't told me your name. I should like to know it. Amy will be so interested.
Spender. Bert Spender.
Well, Mr. Spender, I assure you this has been quite the most pleasant part of my trip. May I buy you a cup of tea?
No, thanks. I haven't finished this one yet. What makes you suddenly come up to London at your time of life? No offence meant.
I was left a legacy. And some solicitor fellow said it would be easier if I came to London to collect it and sign documents.
A legacy? Oh, that's nice.
It is, isn't it?
A nice big one, I hope.
By no means insignificant. £5.
£5? Is that all?
Very generous of Mr. Boddington to remember us at all. He bought his tobacco from us for 50 years, you know.
Oh, you were a tobacconist then?
Oh, yes, indeed. But far more than that. Amy and I opened the Brimley stores 50 years ago. You can buy anything you want there. Anything at all. Mr. Boddington used to tell me they have stores very like it here in London.
You know, Mr. Winkle, I rather like you.
Oh, but how charming of you. Isn't that nice?
Do you and Mrs. Winkle still run the stores?
We still own it, but we retired upon attaining the age of 75 years. And much to our regret, we had no issue. So we let two young friends of ours take charge. They really do it very well. So much more practical than we were.
I'm sure it can't be the same. You know, Mr. Winkle, I think you ought to be getting along to Platform 12. Your train will leave in about 4 minutes.
Oh, what a pity. I was enjoying our talk. Now, any time you are down in Brimley, Mr. Spender, just ask for Winkle and you'll be shown to our cottage. Amy and I will be very happy to welcome you.
That's very kind of you.
And when you come in the front gate, don't be alarmed if the pony, Clarissa, is standing across the path. It's a very bad habit of hers. You just push her out of the way. She won't mind. In fact, I think she rather likes it. Perhaps that's why she does it.
I'll remember.
Well, here we are. Oh, that must be my train. Really a very pretty green, isn't it? You know, I've never seen so many people in all my life, and all looking so miserable. I can't think why.
Well, I must be off. Goodbye, Mr. Winkle. Look after yourself.
Goodbye, young man, and God bless you. Good gracious, what a lot of people trying to get through one tiny gate. I couldn't possibly go through there. Here's another gate. I wonder if it's unlocked. Yes, it is. Oh, this is much more pleasant. No fuss or bother.
Here, where do you think you're going, Grandpa?
Eh?
Yes, you.
Are you addressing me, sir?
Who do you think you are opening gates like that, eh?
I'm in the habit of opening gates in order to pass through to the other side.
And now everybody's coming through it.
If I may say so, it would have been far more intelligent to have opened it in the first place. With two gates open, the train will fill up far quicker and can leave far earlier.
The reason he only opens one gate is because there's only one ticket collector for this train. And so that he can see all the customers' tickets, they have to pass through one gate.
Well, then, as I've got a ticket, there's no reason why I shouldn't pass through the other gate, is there? Good evening.
Here, Arthur, you just let me see your ticket.
You really are very rude. My ticket? Now, let me see. Now, where did I... No, not in there. Must be in here. Oh, no. Well, isn't that extraordinary? Oh, yes, I've got it. Here we are.
That's not it.
Oh, of course, that's for the flower show. Well, now, let's see. Is that the one?
Ah, that's better. This is the fast train, you know. Only stopping at Red Hill and Haywards Heath. You'll have to change at the Heath for Essex.
Essex?
That's right, Essex. And another time, Grandpa, don't go opening gates without asking permission.
Change at Haywards Heath, indeed. What nonsense. Oh, excuse me, sir. This is the Brighton line, isn't it?
Yes, that's right.
Thank you. I thought so. Haywards Heath, indeed. Now, let me see. Which compartment shall I... Oh, gracious me, they all seem to be full. Oh, dear.
Mind your backs, please. Mind your backs, sir.
Excuse me, is there a spare seat in there?
I'm afraid not.
Well, I've got a ticket.
Oh, that doesn't guarantee you a seat, you know.
I'm quite sure it does. I paid a great deal of money for this ticket.
Excuse me, sir. You're blocking the door.
Huh?
Are you getting in or out?
I haven't decided yet. Besides, young man, it's no use your getting in here. There aren't any seats. If so many people want to go to Brighton, why don't they put on 2 trains? You know, we run things far better in Brimley.
Oh, I'm sure you do, but will you please stand out of the way?
No, please, sir. You mustn't push.
Oh, I'm not pushing. I'm just eating. I'm sorry, but I must catch this train.
Oh, dear. I seem to be in now. Good evening, everybody. I'm rather afraid I shall have to sit on someone's knee. I've had rather a tiring day.
Oh, please. Will you have my seat, sir?
Oh, do you mean you haven't got a ticket?
Oh, yes, I've got one all right. But I really don't mind standing. You see, I've been sitting all day.
Oh, how kind of you. Right in the corner, too. I am lucky. Thank you. Tell me, why is everyone so quiet?
Tired, you know, after a hard day's work.
Pity they've all got their newspapers in front of their faces. I always think it's such fun examining people's faces, don't you?
Yes, I suppose it is.
Tell me, sir, why is everyone dressed in black?
Oh, that's the business fashion.
Is it really? Pity. Down in Brimley, we only wear black when we go to funerals.
And we'll be off in a moment.
Good. Good. I'm sure there are far too many people in this train. I suppose the conductor knows what he's doing. Really, you know, this is fun. Where do you live, may I ask?
I'm Brighton, born and bred.
Oh, really? Another big city. What a pity. If you lived in Brimley, I'm sure you'd be much happier.
I'm sure I should. Is that where you live?
Oh, yes. It's the only place, you know.
But if you live in Brimley, why are you on this train?
Because I want to get home, of course.
But this train is a fast one.
Yeah, that's why I came on it. Amy will be waiting in the trap. She said she'd be there from 5 o'clock.
I should have thought it would have been quicker on a slow train.
I beg your pardon?
I said I should have thought you'd get there quicker in a slow train.
I'm sorry, sir. I don't understand.
I mean, on this train, you've got to go all the way to Brighton and then take a slow one back to Hassocks.
Oh, no, sir. We're on the Brighton line, so this train goes through Hassocks.
Yes, but it doesn't stop there.
But of course it stops if I have to get out there. They know perfectly well I've got a ticket to Hassocks.
You should really have changed at Haywards Heath, but now I'm afraid you're going to find yourself in Brighton.
Oh, dear, no, sir. You're quite wrong.
Well?
I had a few words with an official back at the terminus.
And what did he say?
Well, he was rather offensive, as a matter of fact, so I didn't listen. Good gracious me, we're getting quite near home. Time's getting the things together.
And look, sir, you really must believe me. We don't stop now till we reach Brighton.
Let me see. My hat, my umbrella. Look, you can just see Brimley Church spire behind that hill.
It looks a lovely spot.
Do you know, I feel as though I've been away quite a long time.
Yes, but you'll notice the train isn't slowing down.
Of course not. I haven't pulled the chain yet.
Pulled the chain?
I think I should do it now, though. Do you know I shall have to stand on the seat?
But you can't do that.
My shoes are quite clean.
No, I mean you mustn't pull the chain.
But that's what it's there.
But
you...
Stop him, somebody.
He's done it. I only hope you will acknowledge that I was right in saying that the train would stop.
I'm rather afraid you're going to find yourself in trouble, sir.
He's mad.
This means we'll be late.
Confounded nuisance.
Why didn't somebody stop him?
Good gracious me. They haven't even pulled up in the station. How very careless.
Excuse me, sir. Stand away from the door. I'm coming in. Now, let's see. Oh, soap was pulled in here. Now, which of you gentlemen is responsible?
If you mean who pulled the chain, I did.
Why?
Why? Because I wanted to get out.
Why?
Why? Oh, dear, this is most upsetting.
Now, come on, sir. Why did you pull the chain? You feeling ill?
I'm perfectly well, thank you.
Why did you pull the chain?
Because I wanted to get out.
But why did you want to get out?
Because Amy is meeting me here at Essex.
But this is a fast train. It doesn't stop at Essex. You don't imagine you can pull that chain just because you get on the wrong train?
Oh, dear, have we got to go through all this again?
Do you mean to say there's no emergency?
Of course not.
Name, please.
Stephen Winkle.
Address?
Brimley, Sussex.
Full address?
Stephen Winkle, Brimley, Sussex.
And you admit in front of these gentlemen that you only pulled the chain because you wanted to get out at Essex?
Certainly.
Well, that's simple enough.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll get out.
But you can't get out here.
Why not, may I ask? What's the point of stopping the train if I can't get out?
Only in an emergency can you alight from a train anywhere but on a platform.
Oh, very well, then. If you will be kind enough to move the train forward a few hundred yards, I'll oblige by stepping onto Essex platform. I can see Amy waiting. She'll be very cross.
We can't do that. The next stop's Brighton.
Oh, in that case, you must excuse me.
I must warn you, sir, if you climb down onto that track, you'll be trespassing.
Are you going to stop me? If you lay a hand on me, I shall take you to court for assault. Now, sir, if you will kindly give me your hand.
Well, sir.
Oh, thank you. Careful now, sir. Thank you, sir. I'm glad we've settled this whole business amicably. Good evening.
Well, I'll be... Now, gentlemen, I'm sorry, but I shall need the names and addresses of at least 3 of you as witnesses. Mr. Winkle will be prosecuted.
Case number 9. Mr. Stephen Winkle.
Are you Mr. Stephen Winkle of Brimley, Sussex?
I am.
You have been summoned here, Mr. Winkle, because it is alleged that on Monday, 23rd November, whilst travelling on the Brighton train, which leaves Victoria at 5:42, you pulled the emergency chain without proper cause. Secondly, though warned by the guard of the train, you proceeded to walk along the track for a distance of 300 yards, thus trespassing on railway property.
You know, you really make it sound as though I'd done something wrong.
That is why you are here, Mr. Winkle.
Might I ask who you are?
I am the clerk of the court, Mr. Jones.
Oh, I just thought I'd like to know.
Do you plead guilty or not guilty to these charges?
What absolute nonsense.
Mr. Winkle, you must not talk like that.
I'm sorry, Mr. Jones, but really you make it sound as though I'd committed a murder.
Do you plead guilty or not guilty to these summonses?
Oh, very well. I do not deny I pulled the chain, but of course I had good reason. Nor do I deny I walked down the track. But again, I had good reason.
I think we'd better enter a plea of not guilty, Your Worship.
Oh, good. I knew you were making a lot of fuss about nothing. Can I go now?
No, Mr. Winkle, you cannot. It is you who say you are not guilty. British Railways say you are guilty. So it is for this court to decide who is correct.
Oh, dear, this is the most extraordinary business.
Will all the witnesses in this case leave the court?
On Friday, November the 23rd...
Who is that?
Will you be quiet, Mr. Winkle? That is Mr. Soskins, the railway solicitor.
I think someone might have told me.
On Friday, the 23rd of November, as the 5:42 Victoria train approached Hassock Station, the emergency chain was pulled and the train drew to a halt. Mr. Winkle freely admitted to the guard that he was responsible and stated that he wished to alight from the train because he lived nearby. He then expressed his intention of walking down the track. The guard warned him that if he did this, he would be trespassing, but he ignored the warning. I I don't really feel it'll be necessary to call witnesses, sir. That is, if Mr. Winkle is prepared to give evidence on oath.
Mr. Winkle, are you prepared to give evidence on oath?
I beg your pardon?
Mr. Soskins would like to cross-examine you. Are you prepared to take the oath that you will tell the truth?
Quite unnecessary, I assure you. I haven't told a lie since Amy caught me in the car.
If you are willing to be cross-examined, you must take the oath.
You know, Mr. Jones, I really don't like the attitude of this gathering. Everyone seems so suspicious.
Step into the witness box, please, Mr. Winkle.
This way.
Oh, thank you.
Hold the book in the right hand and repeat after me. I swear by Almighty God.
I swear by Almighty God.
That the evidence I shall give.
That the evidence I shall give.
Shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Now, Mr. Winkle, you do not deny that you pulled the cord on the day in question?
I certainly did pull it.
With what intention?
To stop the train.
Why did you wish to stop the train?
To get out.
If you wished to get out at Hassocks, why did you not get a train that stopped there?
I imagined that anybody could stop the train at any station by pulling the chain.
Now, Mr. Winkle, you're not really asking the court to believe that.
The court can believe what it likes. I'm merely telling the truth.
But it's unbelievable that any man...
Shortly before catching the train, I travelled on a bus in London town and did precisely the same thing. I may say the chain was in a more sensible position and I was able to reach it without standing on the seat. The bus stopped and I got off. There was no fuss or bother. In fact, I was wished a very good evening by the ticket man. I should like a glass of water, please.
There you are.
Oh, thank you.
Do you often travel on the railway, Mr. Winkle?
No.
How often?
Never.
But you travelled on the 23rd of November.
I had never travelled on a train before that day, and I shall never do so again.
How old are you, Mr. Winkle?
82.
And Monday, the 23rd of November, 1953, was the first occasion in your life on which you had travelled by rail?
And the last.
How had you travelled on your previous visits to London?
I had never travelled to London before. I only went to collect a legacy.
How do you travel when you visit other parts of the country?
By trap.
Trap?
Clarissa's trap.
Quite.
She and Amy are outside now.
Mr. Winkle, can you read?
Yes, but I'm beginning to wonder if my ears are as good as they were.
Did you not read the notice immediately above the chain?
No, sir, I did not.
Mr. Winkle, I'm going to hand you a copy of the notice.
Oh, thank you.
I will read it out. The notice is headed, Alarm. It then says, to stop the train, pull down the chain. Penalty for improper use, £5. Will you admit that that is quite clear?
It is clear what it says, but not what it means.
Come, Mr. Winkle, surely it is quite clear that the chain is only to be pulled in cases of emergency.
It does not say that, does it? Let us examine this notice carefully. What does it say? To stop the train, pull down the chain. Penalty for improper use, £5. Well, surely, sir, I did stop the train. I did pull down the chain. According to that notice, the only way I could have improperly used the chain would have been for me to pull it up. But I did exactly as I was instructed. I pulled it down, hard.
Would you like another glass of water, Mr. Winkle?
Oh, thank you.
I have nothing further to say on the first summons, Your Worship. Now we come to the second. Mr. Winkle, why did you walk down the railway track when the guard had warned you you would be trespassing if you did so?
Because I wanted to get home as quickly as possible. I asked the guard to pull the train into the station, but he refused. I'm not a young man, Mr. Soskins. I'd had enough.
I shall not trouble to ask you any further questions, Mr. Winkle. Thank you. That is all, Your Worship.
Now, Mr. Winkle.
Excuse me, sir, but haven't we met somewhere before?
I don't think so, Mr. Winkle.
Have you ever been in the Brimley stores?
Mr. Winkle, this is a court of law. The magistrate is addressing you.
Oh, I'm very sorry. I was only trying to be civil.
That's all right, Mr. Winkle.
But our excellent clerk, Mr. Jones, has to see that we all keep on the right lines. Now, let us take the first summons first. Regarding your remarks about the wording of this notice, I think you are forgetting it is prefaced by the word alarm. Do you not agree that that puts a completely different complexion on its meaning?
No, sir, I cannot say that I do. The clock that wakes me up in the morning so that I can get Amy's cup of tea is called an alarm clock. But that does not mean it only rings if the house is on fire or if there's a robber downstairs.
I see. Have you anything further to say?
No, not really. It's very lucky for you that Amy isn't here. She'd have plenty to say.
Yes, I'm sure she would. Well, Mr. Winkle, I think the position is quite clear. On summons number 1, obviously you did not intend to commit an offence. Nevertheless, I consider you behaved rashly, and you caused a considerable number of people serious delay. However, taking into account various factors, the circumstances of your journey, your age, I shall give you the benefit of the doubt. The second summons is a different matter. You completely disregarded the guard, who warned you of the consequences of your action. Still, you have been quite open with us, and I'm also taking that into consideration when I fine you £2 on the second summons. What about costs, Mr. Soskin?
£2, sir, and 10 shillings apiece for 2 witnesses, 60 shillings in all.
But that's £5.
I'm afraid so, Mr. Winkle.
But that's my legacy. What will I tell Amy?
Do you want time to pay?
Certainly not. You can have it now.
Oh, Mr. Winkle.
Yes?
I should like to congratulate you on the way in which you have conducted your defense.
Case number 10, Mr. Peter Deal.
Mr. Jones.
Sir?
I have a confession to make. Oh. I should not have tried that case at all.
Why not, sir?
I was one of the old gentlemen in the compartment. I'm very ashamed of myself, but I like the old gentleman so much, I want to make sure he doesn't get into serious trouble. Look, Mr. Jones, I'm going to send this £5 note round to Mr. Winkle before Amy gets her claws into him. Would you ask one of the constables to catch him quickly?
Certainly, sir. You know, I feel I'd like to contribute something myself.
In no circumstances let anyone know from whom the money came.
All right, sir.
Mr. Winkle! Mr. Winkle!
What is it now, Constable?
I've been asked to hand you this, sir.
From whom?
I don't know, sir.
Thank you.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Now, let me see. Good gracious me, a £5 note. Would you believe it? Really, they do things in the most extraordinary way. They go to all that trouble and then give me back what they took away from me. Well, it's only justice. Amy will be pleased. I must tell her at once. Here she is. Amy! Amy!
You have just heard Richard Baldwin's play from the 30-Minute Theater titled The Chain, as produced and transcribed by Charles Lefeur. Each week at this time, Showcase presents a half hour of the best entertainment from the BBC, as selected by our listeners in a recent mail poll. Next week, in answer to your many requests, we will offer The Crystal Egg, an unusual tale by H.G. Wells. This is Gene Hamilton inviting you to hear The Crystal Egg next week on Showcase. The National Broadcasting Company invites you to Showcase. NBC, in cooperation with the British Broadcasting Corporation, brings you another in its transcribed series of half-hour programs titled Showcase. In answer to your many requests, we present another of England's top-rated programs. Today on Showcase, we will hear a play from the 30-Minute Theater, Velvet Johnny, by Peter Cheney.
Hello, Benson here. Who? Yes, he's with me now, sir. Yes, sir, I'll tell him. Chief Inspector Gringle is urgently in need of Detective Sergeant Hone.
Wants me at once, does he?
He does. I expect he started another of his surveys of unsolved crime during the last 20 years.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Taking all the notebooks and files with you? You'll probably need them.
I keep those little details in my head.
What a head.
That's quite enough flannel from you.
Come in. Ah, Hone. Come in and shut the door. You know what today is, don't you?
It's the 2nd of February, sir.
Precisely. And what happened on the 2nd of February 6 years ago?
An old boy called Cranley was murdered over in Southeast District, sir.
How much do you remember about the case?
Cranley was reputed to be a man with money. Someone broke into the house and tried to blow the safe. They made a mess of it. The theory was that Cranley came down in the middle of it and the burglar hit him over the head with an iron bar, probably a crowbar.
That was 6 years ago.
Yes, sir. You gave the case to me to make the usual inquiries, and nothing's happened up to date, sir.
Are you still doing anything about it, or have you forgotten?
No, I haven't forgotten it, sir. I carry the date forward from year to year, but well, it's just one of those cases. There's no evidence, not a thing. I tried every lead, everything I could do. But unfortunately, I'm not psychic.
I never thought you were. You remember my original idea?
Yes, sir. You thought that Whaley, the boy they call the Voice, had a hand in it. You wanted me to check up on what he was doing that night.
And did you?
I couldn't find him. I couldn't find him for the very good reason he wasn't in this country. He'd gone to Australia. Nobody knew where. He came back 9 months later, so I went to see him, sir. He's living over at Brixton. He's still living there.
Don't you live there, too?
Yes, I do, sir.
Ever see him?
He comes into my local occasionally.
What did he say when you first asked what he was doing on the night of the 2nd of February?
He said he didn't know. I thought that was pretty reasonable.
Easily satisfied, weren't you?
Well, sir, he put it to me that if you asked 99 men out of 100, they couldn't tell you what they were doing on a night 9 months before. And he couldn't.
You believed him?
What does it matter whether I believed him or not, sir? We know Whaley's a crook, but we've got nothing on him. He's a clever egg, that one.
We had nothing else to tie him in with the murder?
Nothing. Incidentally, it struck me that he was telling the truth. If I asked you, suddenly out of the blue, 9 months after a murder, what you were doing on the night, I think it reasonable that you couldn't tell me.
There's a certain amount in what you say. But don't let's forget that Cranley case. Remember Velvet Johnny?
I do. Velvet's coming out next week. There was another clever guy. But he slipped up once the last time. That insurance office in Longacre. A very nice job. Got away with a couple of thousand that night. He's coming out next Tuesday.
You know, when I went down to that place of Cranley's, all the technique looked like Velvet Johnny. The way the front door was open, the back doors wedged, the windows and the curtains fixed.
All right, sir. So it looked like Velvet Johnny. I suppose I didn't think about that. There was nothing to connect him with the murder. He had an alibi for that night.
What was his alibi?
He was with his girlfriend, Lily Malone.
Did anybody see him with her?
No. You might think she was telling a lie, but the jury wouldn't. Nobody's got anything against Lily Malone, and Velvet's a good cracksman, but I don't think he's a murderer.
They've all got to start sometime.
Look, Mr. Gringle, are you telling me to reopen this thing? If so, where do I start and what do I do?
I'm not telling you to do anything, Hone. But don't forget the case. Old Cranley was murdered 6 years ago, and because we haven't been able to do anything about it, there's no reason why we should forget it.
How do I not forget it, sir? Do I go and see Whaley again and ask him what he was doing that night and listen to him telling me he can't remember?
Now, don't get cross. As long as you forget nothing, something might turn up. And don't worry about it, Hone. Just don't forget. That's all.
Nothing else you wanted to see me about, sir?
Not unless it's the anniversary of another of our unsolved cases.
No, sir. Not for another 4.5 months, sir.
As long as that. Well, maybe we're not so inefficient after all.
No, maybe not, sir.
2 mild and bitters, please.
2 mild and bitter, sir. Pints?
Yes, and a gin.
A large one, sir?
No, a small one with a drop of lemon.
Right you are, sir. Much obliged.
Half a mild and a brown ale, please, miss.
Half a mild and a brown ale. Why, good evening, Mr. Whaley.
Good evening, Ethel.
Did you have a good time last night?
Smashing.
Did you go up west, like you said?
We did. Went to one of those real smart dance places. Oh, proper evening it was last night. There was a Yankee girl, part of the floor show. Oh, she was a smasher. She got hold of me, pulled me up onto a little stage, and made me sing Cry with her.
Oh, well, I never, Mr. Whaley.
Yeah, it was a real good birthday party.
You always like some notice to be taken at your birthday, don't you?
You bet I do, and yesterday was the best one I've had so far. Well, how about some service, Ethel?
Right away, Mr. Whaley. Your usual?
You bet your life. Make it a double. Have one yourself?
Thanks a lot, Mr. Whaley.
Many happy returns of yesterday, Whaley.
What? Hello, Mr. Hone. How long have you been standing there?
Some time.
Fancy that, and I never saw you. Must be going blind or something. Well, how's Scotland Yard?
It's still there. Could I have a little talk with you?
Sure. Have a drink?
No, not just now, thanks. I've got a glass here.
Here you are, Mr. Whaley.
Thanks a million, Ethel. Well, here's to everybody.
Here's to you, Mr. Whaley.
There's an empty table in that corner, Whaley. Shall we move over there?
Sure. You want to? It's okay by me.
Ah, this is better.
I suppose a cop is always glad to take the weight off his feet. What's this little talk going to be about?
Yesterday was the anniversary of the Cranley murder, 6 years ago. Remember?
Of course I remember. We've talked about that before, Mr. Owen, haven't we?
Yes, and I'm talking about it again. Remember that 9 months after the murder, I came to see you?
I'm not likely to forget it.
Chief Inspector Gringle, who was in charge of the case, had an idea the job looked like Velvet Johnny. And he knew you and Velvet Johnny had done plenty of jobs together. To see a man 9 months after a job isn't fair to him or me, I know, but I wanted to know what you were doing on the night of the murder, not because I thought you'd committed it.
Very kind of you, I'm sure.
Because I thought it'd be the best way of getting a line on Velvet Johnny.
I wondered why you wanted a line on him. I thought he had an alibi.
He had. And you weren't able to tell me what you were doing on that night because you couldn't remember.
That's right. I couldn't.
Circumstances alter cases. See what I mean?
No, I don't.
I know something now that I didn't know then. Something I learned 10 minutes ago.
What, for instance?
The night the murder was committed was your birthday. It might have been 9 months after the job when I saw you. I couldn't see you before. You were abroad somewhere, Australia, I think. But don't tell me you couldn't remember what you'd been doing on your previous birthday. You're pretty keen about celebrating birthdays, it seems, just like kids and old women of 80.
So what?
So it occurs to me that you did know who committed the murder.
Oh?
Now, if you'd told me where you were on that night, I might have been able to get to the murderer somehow through that. Perhaps you're being loyal to somebody, Whaley. You thought it best to say you didn't remember what you were doing. You didn't think I'd ever discover it was your birthday on the 2nd of February. Wouldn't you like to do some talking?
Look, I'm no mug, Mr. Owen. 6 years since that murder. You got on to me 9 months afterwards, and I told you I didn't know what had happened. Now you're back again, so I'm thinking...
What are you thinking, Whaley?
Maybe it's no good being loyal to your pals. Maybe you only get yourself in bad with the police, and I wouldn't like to do that. Look, Mr. Owen, I'd like to think this out a bit more. Not because I had anything to do with that job, because I hadn't, but I hate to do the dirty on a pal.
You do all the thinking you want. When would you like to talk to me?
Know where I live?
Yeah?
Come around to my place tomorrow evening about 7 o'clock. That'll suit you?
That'll be there.
Maybe I'll have something to tell you.
I'll be there. Well, now I must be on my way. I promised I'd be home half an hour ago.
Oh, can't have coppers getting into trouble, even if it's only domestic.
See you tomorrow evening. Good night. Good night, Ethel.
Good night. Why, Mr. Whaley, sitting there all on your own with an empty glass. That's not like you at all.
I don't want no more, thank you, Ethel.
Well, you do surprise me, Mr. Whaley. Not a bit like yourself tonight, are you?
Oh, shut your trap.
Well,
Hello, Lily.
hello. What's cooking?
Plenty. I'd like to talk to you, baby.
Come in. Would you like a drink?
Yeah, I would.
Sit yourself down and have a fag. You look worried. What's up?
Look, Lily, sit down and listen to me.
Something wrong?
You listen to me and ask yourself. You remember that Cranley case 6 years ago?
I remember. Just about the time you went to Australia.
Yeah. Only back 2 days before the blue inks were onto me. Detective Sergeant Hone and all his palaver. Tonight he got onto me again.
Why? What for?
Got wise to the fact that the murder was committed on my birthday, see? Now he wants to know why I couldn't remember what I was doing that evening. Coming to see me tomorrow. Looks as if I'll have to do some talking.
What you gonna say?
I'm going to tell him Velvet Johnny croaked old Cranley.
But I alibied him. He was with me.
You told him he'd been with you that night, but you didn't tell them he'd been with you all that night, did you?
Keep talking, Bill Whaley.
Johnny and I always worked together, see? They knew it was us all right, but they've never been able to prove anything.
Weren't you clever?
We was clever, all right, and we had a system of working, Velvet and me. He used to case the joint first of all, and then... Do you know what he did? He used to sit at that old typewriter of his and work it all out on paper. Yeah. Time the job was to be done, just what he was going to do, just what I was going to do. I used to take care of the safe. Johnny was bad at that.
Was he?
He was. That's why he had to do old Cranley in.
Meaning what?
Meaning, because I wasn't with him, he did it on his own. Tried to get the safe open. But he woke Cranley and the old boy came down. Well, there was only one thing for Johnny to do. He did it. He did Cranley.
It's a nice story. I've always wondered why I've been stuck on you. I've always wondered why it was. After they got him and put him inside, I walked out on Johnny. For you.
Look, we'll leave the soft stuff out of it. Johnny's coming out next week. How do you think he's going to feel when he finds you've ditched him and come over to me? Maybe he's not going to feel so good about it. Maybe called Velvet Johnny's, but he's got a temper. I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't try and...
I know. Maybe he'll try to do me in. I wouldn't like that.
Maybe you won't have to worry. I reckon they'll be waiting for him when he comes out.
If you've still got that typewritten note about the Cranley job, I suppose you think that's going to hang him. But you're not going to tell me he used to sign those things. He wasn't such a mug.
Nah, he never signed them, but it's easy to tell if they come from him.
Oh.
He always used that small portable typewriter with a small T worn away and the O key broken off. He used to use the question mark for the O. Now, anybody who sees that note would know it was written on Johnny's typewriter, just as good as a signature, see?
If they had the typewriter. If you've got that note, if you gave it to Hone tomorrow night, they'd pull Johnny in for this with no argument. More especially if I told them I'd made a mistake. And Johnny wasn't with me that night.
Right, baby. And Johnny wasn't with you that night. Do you know how I know?
You tell me.
Because I was with you. See?
I see.
You listen to me, Lily. You know I've never been inside. I've been what they call successful in my profession. Velvet Johnny used to spend his money like dirt. I didn't. When I went to Australia just after that murder, I sorted some very nice stowaway. I'm worth £7,000 in Australia, Lily. I'm thinking of settling there.
What's all this leading up to?
Just this. I thought it might be a good idea if you and me got married before next week. Before Johnny comes out, see? And when he does come out, he won't be able to get annoyed with you, baby, because they'll pinch him at once. Then you and I go to Australia where the sun's always shining.
So you're going to give Hone the note, are you?
Well, I'd like to, baby, but I haven't got it.
I guessed you hadn't.
Silly about that note. When I rang up Johnny to tell him I wasn't going to do the job, I tore up the note into little pieces and threw him into the fire. See what I mean?
I see. What you mean is, if you had the typewriter that Johnny wrote the note on, the typewriter with half the T and the O missing, you could write the note again, yourself. You could write it on an old sheet of paper, maybe an old sheet you got from the time you and Johnny were working together. That's right, isn't it?
That's right, Lily.
How much did you say you'd got in Australia?
7,000 quid. But that's not all. I've got 2,500 here.
Light me a cigarette, Bill.
Okay, love.
Listen, you bring me 2,000 quid of that 2,500 here tomorrow morning. If you do that, you know what I'll do?
You tell me, sweetheart.
I'll go and get Johnny's old typewriter. I know what it is. He pawned it a week before he went inside. Found the ticket in one of his old suits. I'll get it out. See?
Good girl.
You can have your talk with Detective Sergeant Owen tomorrow night. And when all this is over, you and me will go to Australia. I think I'd like it, though.
Oh, there's just one thing, baby. It may be Owen's going to get around to you before Johnny comes out next week. Maybe he's going to ask you some questions.
What if he does?
Well, don't forget that you spent that night, the whole night, with me, see? You couldn't forget it because it was my birthday. Yeah. You'd got fed up with Johnny. You'd had a row because he was going to do a job and you didn't like it.
I know what to say.
Yeah. I guess you do, sweetheart. Well, I'll be going.
Must you?
I'll be around at 12 o'clock tomorrow and I'll bring the dough with me. Take me a little time to get it together.
You come round at 12 o'clock and I'll have the typewriter.
You've got something, kid.
Yes, I've got something. I've got the typewriter.
The train from Bournemouth West, Bournemouth Central, Southampton Central, Winchester and Basingstoke is now arriving at platform 7.
You sure they'll fit Johnny beyond this train?
He was on it when he left Southampton.
It stopped twice since then.
I still think he'll come walking through this barrier in a moment or two.
Well, we can't miss him if he does. At least you can't. I've never laid eyes on him.
Well, you can do that now if you want to. There he is, coming towards us.
What? That fair-haired, nice-looking bloke?
That's him. Doesn't look like a murderer, does he?
Do they ever? He hasn't seen you yet.
No. You get back to the car and wait. I'll pick him up alone.
Right you are. But don't be too long.
Hello, Johnny.
Well, well, Mr. Hone. I didn't expect a reception committee.
I'm hardly a committee.
How are you? How are they doing at that funny academy of yours?
A bit too well. I want to talk to you.
For the love of Mike. I've just come out and a copper wants to talk to me. Don't tell me I pulled a job while I was inside.
No, it's worse than that.
Is it? Tell me what it is.
It's murder. The Cranley job.
Now, look, I had nothing to do with that.
Now, let's not talk here. Let's go and have a cup of tea in the refreshment room.
Okay, if you insist.
I wonder what they've put in this tea.
It's better than the stuff I've been drinking for the last 2 years. But not much. Look, I don't want to seem too curious,
Here's the story. I'll give it to you straight. When I talked to you about this Cranley job, you had an alibi. You were supposed to have been with Lily Malone, the girl who was going to marry you when you came out.
What do you mean, supposed? And what do you mean, was going to marry me?
That's how it is. She's gone back on her alibi.
You wouldn't kid me, would you?
I'm not kidding you, Johnny. She's been talking.
Saying what?
That you weren't with her that night. She went over to see Whaley.
Whaley?
Yes, Whaley.
The little tramp. She never went near him that night. So while I've been inside, she's gone over to him, and now she's trying to plant this on me.
Drink your tea. Tell me something.
What?
Is it true that you planned to have a go at that Cranley safe?
Yeah.
Is it true that you cased the job and sat down at that little old typewriter of yours and typed out a scheme for doing it? That used to be a way of working, didn't it?
It was. Put it down to the overconfidence of youth.
And when you met Whaley and handed it to him, he told you he wasn't going to play because he didn't like it.
Well, that's true enough. But I never went near Cranley's place that night. When Whaley wouldn't play, I chucked it.
You went round and saw your girlfriend, Lily Malone, instead.
That's just what I did.
She says you didn't.
She's lying.
She's prepared to go into the box and say it. And Whaley's produced the typewritten note you gave him. You know something about evidence, don't you, Johnny? There's enough there to hang you.
This is a swell homecoming. All the while I was in that train this afternoon, I was thinking about seeing Lily, making plans for the future. And I woke into a murder rap. One that looks pretty hard to beat. Where do we go from here?
Where do you think?
What is it? The old story of the police car outside and Cannon Row? Would I like to make a statement?
Listen, Johnny, the police car is outside.
I guess
But
that...
before I take you along to Cannon Row, let's visit some old friends.
Old friends?
Old friends of yours. Lily Malone and Whaley. I happen to know he's round at her place. There's no reason why you shouldn't hear what they've got to say before I charge you.
Well, if that's the way you want it, let's go. Let's get it over with.
Benson, you stick around outside.
Right, you are.
Be ready to catch Johnny if he tries to make a getaway.
Nice, trustful guys. How about the back entrance?
These flats have no back entrance, and well, you know it. Come on.
Why? Mr. Holmes.
Afternoon, Whaley.
What do you bring Velvet here for? Lily and I've got nothing to say to him.
I may have something to say to you,
You
brother.
won't mind if we come in, Whaley?
We're not going to be threatened by blokes like Velvet.
I'm going to do the talking, not Johnny.
Okay. If you must, I suppose you must. In here. Lily, we got visitors.
Yes, I heard.
Good afternoon, Miss Malone.
Good afternoon. Hello, Velvet. I suppose it'd be silly of me to say I'm glad to see you.
What do you think?
I'm sorry it had to be like this, I'm sure.
You know what I think you are. Let's leave it at that.
I've got something to say to you people, something important. And to anyone who feels they'd like to leave this happy little gathering in a hurry, let me remind you there's a police officer at the foot of the stairs.
Yeah, come off it. Who are you threatening?
He means Velvet, you fool, not you.
Oh.
I've explained the position to Johnny, and I've got something here that I wanted to show him in front of you, too. You recognize this piece of paper, Whaley?
Sure I do. I gave it to you the other day.
Johnny, this is the typewritten note he had from you after you had inspected Cranley's house. Take a look at it. You can save yourself a lot of trouble, Johnny, by telling the truth. Was that written on your typewriter?
You want me to put a rope around my own neck?
I want the truth.
I'll take a chance on you. Yeah, it was written on my typewriter.
Do you recognize it as the one you handed to Whaley?
Well, I guess it's the one.
Look at it carefully.
Yeah, just what are you trying to do, Copper?
Yeah, what is all this palaver about? That's the note he wrote, all right. Haven't I had it tucked away for the last 6 years?
Have you, Whaley?
Yes, I have.
Of course Johnny wrote it. He's admitted it was written on his typewriter.
What do you think, Johnny? Did you write it?
6 years is a long time. It looks like the one I wrote. Oh, there's just one thing, though.
What's that, Johnny?
The address. Did Cranley live at 14 Welland Street? Oh, somehow it doesn't seem to click.
You must be losing your memory, Johnny. Of course, that was Cranley's address.
You seem very sure, Whaley. Been down there to refresh your memory?
No. No, of course I haven't. Why the hell should I?
Because Johnny did not write that note. You did. You typed it within the last few days.
Oh, Bill, whatever's going to happen...
Shut up, Lily. Mr. Roan, you must be off your rocker to make such accusations. I'd like to see you prove them.
I can.
What?
You look scared, brother. Whaley, you threw away the original note that Johnny gave you and made a deal with Lily Malone.
Oh, I tell you, I had nothing to do with it.
You must have. You knew where Johnny's typewriter was. She loaned it to you, Whaley, and you typed this note. You sat down at that machine and tried to remember exactly what was in Velvet Johnny's original note. You remembered most of it, but the one thing you couldn't remember. You couldn't remember the address of old Cranley's house. So you did what you thought was the wisest thing. You went round there and checked on it. And what did you write? Here it is. You wrote 14 Welland Street.
And I tell you, that's the house.
It's a pity you forgot they changed the names of lots of blitz streets in London just after the war.
All right.
Oh, yes, Whaley, that was the house, all right. but the name of the street was changed 6 months after the murder was committed. When the crime took place, it was 14 Maberly Street.
And you was bragging about being so successful, Bill Whaley.
I'm getting out of here. They'll get him all right. Benson?
Yes?
Have you got him?
We've got him all right.
Well, hold him. You'll be charged with murder. Liliana Malone, I'm known to you as a police officer, and I'm arresting you on a charge of being an accessory after the fact.
All right, Anson. You win. I'll come quietly. If I ran down those stairs, I might hurt my legs. And I've got lovely legs. Haven't I, Johnny? What's the matter with you? Cat got your tongue?
I've got nothing to say to you.
Oh, well. And I'd have sent you such a beautiful wreath if they'd hanged you.
Hello, Benson here. Who? Yes, he's with me now, sir. I'll tell him. Chief Inspector Gringle.
Wants me at once, I suppose?
He does. I wonder which unsolved crime he's got in his mind this morning.
I wonder. Could it be somebody else's birthday, do you think?
Birthday? What are you talking about?
It doesn't matter. It's not important.
He must be potty.
You have just heard Velvet Johnny, a play from the 30-Minute Theater by Peter Cheney, produced and transcribed by Charles Lefeur. Each week at this time, Showcase presents a half hour of the best entertainment from the BBC, as selected by our listeners in a recent mail poll. In answer to your many requests, our next program will be Mr. Ledbetter's Vacation, an unusual tale by H.G. Wells. This is Gene Hamilton inviting you to hear Mr. Ledbetter's Vacation. The National Broadcasting Company invites you to Showcase. NBC, in cooperation with the British Broadcasting Corporation, brings you another in its transcribed series of half-hour programs titled Showcase. In answer to your many requests, we present another of England's top-rated programs. Today on Showcase, we will hear an unusual tale, Mr. Ledbetter's Vacation by H.G. Wells.
Oh, good evening. Now, make yourself at home. Your fine deck chair's the one.
This one?
Yes. Not a bad hole, this, as boarding houses go. Where'd you come from, eh?
I arrived on the 5:52 from Tunbridge Wells.
Ever been here before?
No.
No? Well, you'll like it, I think. Hithergate on Sea is quiet, I grant you that. Quiet, but not dead quiet. Distinction with a difference, to coin a phrase. It's perfectly true that there is no Pierrot party, but then who wants a Pierrot party?
No, who indeed?
Well, you wouldn't anyway. I mean, being a parson and all that kind of thing. Though I must say, some parsons are remarkably broad-minded about all kinds of things nowadays. Is your parish right in Tunbridge Wells, might one ask?
No, I am a schoolmaster. Though, as you very rightly surmise, I am also in holy orders. Have you been here long, sir?
Oh, not very. About a week. Come here regularly every year. Have done for years. Like the place. Like the front and the wooden groins, the fishing boats, and the way that path goes up over the cliff, you know. Oh, no, you don't, of course. But you will. And there's a very good little golf course here, too.
And above all, it's a pretty place. Yes, yes. Hithergate-on-Sea is a really pretty place.
Yes, quite so.
Purely by chance you came? Why,
Well,
I don't expect so, mark you, because Mrs. Partridge's boarders go about all over England recommending go to Malvern Court at the end of the marina, they say, and you'll be well looked after.
Oh, those are, curiously enough, the exact words my aunt used.
There you are, you see. It's Malvern Court every time for me. Hithergate-on-Sea wouldn't be the same place without Mrs. Partridge and her cooking. Oh, it's wonderful. Nourishing.
I don't think I saw you in the dining room at supper.
No, just come in. Not often I miss a meal here, but I stayed so late at the golf club that I had a sandwich and a drink up there instead. Supper good, eh?
Excellent, yes.
Yes. Well, I had a bit of cold beef and some beetroot and of course, cheese. Gorgonzola, nice and ripe. Well, I'm going to have another little spot of whiskey, I think. I keep a bottle in this cupboard. Oh, you won't mention it to anyone, will you?
No, of course not.
You'll have a spot too, eh?
Well,
I can recommend this old Ivy Leaf brand. There's something extraordinarily mellow about it.
Well, I hardly ever... It's very kind of you,
Oh,
but...
come, my dear fellow. A little one, just one finger, do you good.
Well, perhaps a very little one.
Yes.
That's quite enough. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much indeed.
Well, here's to crime.
Oh, I hardly think I'd care to drink to crime.
Oh, it's only a saying, you know, like any of these toasts.
Nevertheless...
Shall we drink to adventure and romance? I recollect that was my old father's favourite toast.
Certainly. To adventure and romance.
To adventure and romance. Not that there is any in these days.
Any what?
Adventure or romance.
Oh, don't you think so?
Oh, of course not. Why, look at the way you can get about. There was a time when you could really be a traveller. You could go to places like China or India and not be heard of for years and years, and come back loaded with ivory and rubies and silk garments and black slaves.
Yes.
And the tales you told. Dragons, sea serpents, harems, all wonderful.
Not quite the same today.
Same? Why, of course not. Today you pop into a travel agency and they fix things up so that you can go anywhere in the whole blinking world with perfect safety. Think of it, in perfect safety.
Yes, it does
It's a tragedy. Adventure is no more. What with steam, electricity and petrol, real magic, that is the magic of the unknown, is finished. Pekin and Mandalay and the South Seas may be unknown to you and me, but they're perfectly well known to Messrs. Tompkins' agency, blast them. They've got a little man in a nasty little office in the main street in Pekin. And in the most mysterious corner of the most romantic isle in the South Seas, there is Messrs. Tompkins' beastly little office under a hula tree. Have another drink. Just give me a glass.
Not too strong, old man.
Oh, do you good, do you good. What I always say is that a man ought to live dangerously. That's what I said.
Take your life in your hand, you mean, Mr.
Crabtree's the name, old man.
Mr. Crabtree. Oh, thanks very much. A bit strong, eh?
Oh, nonsense. Take your life in your hand, you were saying.
Oh, was I? Oh, yes, so I was. That's what you mean, I expect.
That's what I mean, old man. By the way, what's your name? Reverend something, I suppose?
My name is Ledbetter.
Well, here's the crime, Ledbetter, old chap.
Good health, Crabtree.
Well. And what's worse than anything else in these degenerate days is... Can you guess what?
Manners? The behavior of young people?
No. Advertisement. These posters, thrusting things under your nose and shouting at you to buy their beastly product. It isn't decent. It isn't dignified.
No, it certainly isn't dignified. Not dignified.
Well, I ask you, if that's what so-called civilization has brought to us, what's it worth? Are we men, or are we creatures in
cotton wool?
Cotton wool, that's it. Have another small one, over.
Now, mind, I mean a small one, Mr. Crabtree.
Or, as I was saying, are we things in glass cases, told where to go, what to eat, what to wear, what to think, what to read? Why, Ledbetter, we're better dead, Ledbetter. Oh, I say, that's funny. It came better, led better.
We ought to be led better, or we'd be dead better.
Oh, excellent, my dear. Oh, that's really very good. Very, very good indeed.
Oh, no, not at all. but it's absolutely true what you say, Mr. Crabtree. Civilization is, as it were, cut down, gathered into bundles, and put in an oven and baked like the birds of the air.
I say, by Jove, old man, that's a very powerful metaphor you have there.
Oh.
A noble structure. Baked and gathered into ovens. It's a very profound thought.
Gathered into bundles, Crabtree. Bundles.
Oh, sorry, my dear fellow, sorry, the bundle.
You know, I feel what you've been saying very keenly indeed. It comes right to my door, as the saying is.
Oh, not your fault, old man. Not your fault that civilization has killed everything that made life worthwhile in the grand old days.
I know it's not my fault, Crabtree, but nevertheless, I feel it very keenly that I should have been called upon to live such a very, very uneventful life.
Same for most of us.
But none so much as the pedagogue. How prosaic an existence, so stagnant, so colourless.
Secure. Methodical, year in, year out.
What call does such a life even make for bravery?
Or for courage.
Quite.
Same thing, you know.
What?
Bravery and courage, old man.
Yes.
Think of those wonderful roving medieval days when condottieri came thundering down hillsides and made the streets of some sleepy old town suddenly awake with shouts and the clash of swords.
Oh, I wish I'd lived in those days, you know. I sometimes fancy I was cut out for something a bit more dramatic, as it were. I know just what it felt like to fare out across the world on a steed, you know.
Oh, steed.
Over hills and valleys. And before you knew where you were right in the thick of some desperate plot to rescue someone fresh from some appalling situation in a castle, on a lonely tower, or something like that. I could have done that, if only I hadn't been born in this banal century.
There's only one true adventurer left on Earth, and he's the burglar. Oh, yes, the common burglar. Think of his single-handed fight against the whole of the civilized world.
Yes, they do have some fun out of life, and about the only people who do. Just think how it must feel to crack a crib.
Just think.
I could do all that. I long to do it.
Oh, rot, old man. I know what you mean.
Only I do not give way to my criminal impulses. No. My moral courage restrains me.
Yes, I quite see what you mean, old man. I feel like that myself. Lonely adventurer. Oh, you know, Ledbetter, old man? I believe I must seek the arms of Morpheus, to coin the phrase.
Oh, I shall go for a walk along the seafront for a quarter of an hour. You're quite sure you don't feel like a turn?
No, afraid not. Awfully sorry, but I'll see you on your way.
Oh,
Come on.
Thank you.
Well, off you go, and if you'll permit a suggestion, I should go that way, towards the cliffs.
Right, I will. My word, what a wonderful moon.
Yes, lovely. Lovely moonlight night. Just right for the venture. Oh, gosh, I'm sleepy. Good night, Ledbetter, old man.
Good night, Mr. Crabtree. Good night. And I on the ocean wave, ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-tee-tee, and I on the ocean wave, tee-tee-tee-tee-tee-tee, tee-tee-tee-tee-tee-tee. Huh, afraid? Huh, of course I'm not. Why, I could prove it. I could get into that house there and commit a burglary in blank. It will take something to prove it, some sort of truth. I know, a piece of soap. I could take a piece of soap. Take a piece of soap, just a tiny piece of soap, just a piece of soap. Oh, it wouldn't be difficult to get up into that balcony. not with a bit of a run. No. 1, 2, 3. Done it. I feel like a cat on the tile. Crime. Crime. Here's to crime. A bedroom. Empty. Oh, perhaps the whole house is empty. Perhaps the people are away. They'd scarcely be out at 2 o'clock in the morning. Well, I'll take my piece of soap and then farewell. Pop it in my pocket. Oh, that was the front door. Now, how am I to get out of this? Oh, goodness, he's coming upstairs. Oh, I ought to have gotten back onto the balcony. Oh, it's too late. Oh, my goodness, but under the table.
Oh, Lord, what a day. What a day. Now, let's see. 15, 16, 17. Who's that? Come out of that, you scoundrel. Come out, this side of the bed. I've got you covered.
Oh, yes, certainly.
Kneel and hold up your hands. Oh, dressed like a parson. Blessed if he isn't. What the deuce possessed you to come here tonight? What were you doing under my bed?
Oh, no doubt to my appearance.
What the devil possessed you to get under my bed dressed up like a parson, eh?
I can quite understand that it must look...
What's that in your hand? Oh, no. Don't move an inch. Why, it's soap, isn't it?
Yes, it is soap from your wash-hand stand. If I might...
Soap? What the incredible thing.
If I might explain...
Now, don't bother. Sure to be a lie. There's no time for explanations. Have you any mates?
If you would only allow me a few minutes, I could tell you...
If you start any soapy palaver, I'll shoot you. Have you any mates? Accomplices?
No.
Well, if that's a lie, you'll pay for it. Why the deuce didn't you floor me when I was coming upstairs?
No.
Well, you won't get a chance now, anyway.
Excuse me. It is rather fatiguing holding my hands up like this.
All right, put them down.
Oh, thank you.
And what to do with you, I don't exactly know. If I call in the police, I'm bust.
Oh.
If I tie you up and leave you, the thing may be out tomorrow. Tomorrow's a Sunday and Monday's a bank holiday. I've counted on 3 clear days. Shooting you's murder and hanging.
Yes.
And besides, it would bust the whole blooming thing. Hanged if I can think what to do.
Oh, will you permit me?
You gas as much as if you were a real parson. Blessed if you don't. Of all the burglars,
Will you permit me to...
No, I won't permit you. There isn't time. Now, what we're going to do first, my men, is to search you for concealed arms. And when I tell you to do a thing, don't start off gabbling. Just do it.
Oh.
Brisk. You see? Stand there. Turn round. That's it. Now put your hands up over your head. Why, you haven't even got a pistol pocket in the back of your breeches. You are an amateur. Shut up now. Go on, now take off your coat and roll up your sleeves. Go on.
Oh, please don't point that gun at me.
Shut up. Now start packing all this as I tell you. That's it. Now take those rolls of sovereigns and push them in among the shirts in this bag. Yes, the shirts.
Yes.
Go on, that's right. That's the idea. Now some in here.
Yes.
Yes, but shove them in tight.
Oh, yes.
That's the idea. Now on the other side.
This tight.
Yes. We'll spread them about more to distribute the weight. That's better. Now, we'll begin on the large portmanteau. Now put those rolls of notes on the table into the socks.
Into the socks.
Good.
Why, there must be thousands and thousands of pounds here.
I should say there is. A little over 40,000.
Oh.
You know, you waste your time in burglary. You should do one of 2 things. Either you should forge or you should embezzle. What? For my own part, I embezzle.
You embezzle?
Yes, I embezzle. Oh. What do you think a man could be doing with all this gold but that? Listen, 3 o'clock. It's time for us to be moving. Come on, turn round. Now stoop a bit. That's the idea. Now we'll hump this portmanteau up onto your back. That's it. That's the idea. Now, steady now, then, with this piece of cord. That's it. Now, you'll be able to carry the other bag. I'll take the hat box.
Oh, which way?
Which way? Down the stairs and turn left into the conservatory. Now, go on, get a move on. And remember, I'm just behind you with a pistol. Here, stop. Put them down. That's the idea.
Last night I was asleep in my little room, and I no more dreamt.
Well, there's no need for you to incriminate yourself. Aha, good. Here's Marrow.
Bingham. Well, who's this?
Only a little philanthropic do of mine. A burglar, trying to reform. Got him under my bed just now. Oh, he's all right. He'll be useful to carry some of our things.
Well, we don't want anybody else, let alone a half-witted village idiot. Besides, there may be others.
No, he's quite alone. There's not a gang in the world would own him.
You see, Mr.
Now, don't start talking, for goodness sake. Come on, heave up that portmanteau.
I'll take this one. Quietly now.
That's the idea. Now, wait a minute. I'll just close this door. I don't want anybody to notice. All right, you go ahead, Maddo. I'll come along behind.
There's Abdul with the boat.
Put the portmanteau in the boat. Go on, Parson. Wade in. A little water won't hurt you.
Weekend, Juana.
Catherine. Very heavy.
Yes, Juana.
Now then. Good. Now then, burglar. In you come.
Explanation, I can assure you.
Shut up.
Oh.
Get hold of his hair, Marrow. Come on, lend a hand, Abdul.
Now, Abdul. Row.
Yes, Juana.
Tie up alongside. Now, get up that ladder, scoundrel. Go on.
This rope thing. Oh,
I'll shoot you if you don't do as you're told. Get up the ladder.
Scoundrel out. Get that crew of yours moving. We set sail at once. Abdul, where's that balmy burglar? You brought him up?
Yes, here he is, Juana. Him say he want to die.
Well, you certainly do look a wreck. What have you been doing?
Cockroaches everywhere. Oh, it smells terrible down in that hole.
Dear me, you usually travel first class, eh? You are a mess, no mistake. Now, look here. You play cribbage or euchre?
A little, but I'm better at whist.
Whist. All right, we'll play three-handed whist.
Yeah, you wouldn't pass so easily as a curate now, you know. On my soul, Matter, he looks like a ruffian, doesn't he, eh? Nasty lot the crew are, aren't they? I don't envy you. Half an hour down there foddered with them would be quite enough for me, and you've been down there 2 days.
Terrible, sir. Terrible.
I never saw such a collection as you've got, Marrow. Lascars, Chinamen, all kinds. There's not a Christian among them.
A real scalloped crossbones crew they are. Well, Abdul's a Christian, I believe. If it's Christians you want.
No. One's enough. Haven't we got the curate here? What did you do with the collection last Sunday, eh? Yes, talking about collections, you know, I used to be a church warden at St. Agatha's, near the Gate-on-Sea. I can scarcely believe it myself.
Mr. Bingham, were you really?
I was indeed. I didn't go around dressed up as like a parson. I really was a bank manager and a church warden. Probably the most respected figure in Hithergate-on-Sea. I wonder what they're saying about me now.
You don't mean it.
And Mr. Marrow, my good burglar, is, or rather I should say was, a solicitor. The best solicitor in Hithergate-on-Sea. Everyone respected him. Second to me, he was the most respected and trusted man in the place. I came first, naturally, because I was not only the bank manager, but also a church warden at St. Agatha's.
Oh, my God.
It's your lead, Mara. Diamonds are trumps, I've done.
Days. It must be about 20. Yes, I think it is 20. Oh, it's getting so very hot. I wonder where we are.
Oi, you. Come up here, scoundrel.
Yes, Mr. Bingham. Coming. Yes, Mr. Bingham.
Climb down that ladder into the boat.
What? Where are we going?
Oh, enough to turn the heart of a stone, isn't he, eh?
Poor little misery.
You see that island over there?
Yes, yes.
That's it.
What? How?
You'll see.
Oh, will you listen? If this is to be the last opportunity, in a few sentences I can explain. I could convince you, I'm certain.
My position under your bed.
No, please listen, please.
Same old start, same old story.
Yes.
Good old burglar.
I'm really not a burglar.
No, and you never will be. Get down that ladder into the boat. Scoundrel.
Yes.
The island we're approaching has no name, apparently. At least there's none on the chart. It is one of the Grenadines, one of the Windward Islands. Yonder, dim and blue, are others of the Grenadines, but the majority of them are out of sight. I've often wondered what these islands are for, but now you see I'm wiser. This one at least is for you.
Oh, really, Mr. Bingham? You're not going to land me
Sooner or later, some simple native will come along and take you off. You can say what you like about us then. Abuse us if you like. We shan't care one solitary grenadine. And here is half a sovereign's worth of silver. Now, don't waste that in foolish dissipation when you return to civilization. Properly used, it may give you a fresh start in life. And do not... Here, don't beat your Abdul. He can wade.
Keep your hand
I'm sorry, but I must ask you to carry a bundle of food.
But
No, it's all right. It's not deep. Hardly up to your waist. You'll find a tin opener at the bottom of the bundle. I saw them put it in.
Mr. Bingham, that night in your bedroom...
No, there's no time for that.
But he don't...
No, I'm not going to listen. Overboard you go. Goodbye, burglar. Choose another profession.
My name is Reginald Martin, and I have here a letter I received the other day from England. To Reginald Martin, Esquire, 4 Longcross Street, Kingston, Jamaica.
My dear Mr. Martin, I do not know how I can possibly thank you for all your kindness to a total stranger. Had it not been for your generous assistance, I could certainly never have returned in time for the resumption of my scholastic duties, and my few minutes of reckless folly would perhaps have proved my ruin. As it is, I am entangled in a tissue of lies and evasions of the most complicated sort to account for my sunburnt appearance and my whereabouts. The truth I dare not tell, for there is not the slightest doubt that I have connived at and abetted and aided a felony. Bingham and Marrow were, just as they said, the bank manager and solicitor at Hithergate-on-Sea, and have left a trail of ruin and misery behind them. The worst of it is, my aunt does not seem altogether to believe a guarded statement I have made her, practically of what actually happened. She suspects me of some discreditable adventure, but says she would forgive me if I told her everything. I have told her more than everything, and still she is not satisfied. If, when you write, you could write on 2 sheets so that I could show her one, and on that one you could show clearly that I really was in Jamaica this summer and had come there by being removed from a ship, it would be a great service to me. It would certainly add to the load of my obligation to you, a load I fear I can never fully repay. Although, if gratitude...
And so on and so forth. And at the end he requests that I will burn the letter, which of course I will. Quaint little creature. That breach with his aunt was not of long duration. The old lady had forgiven him before she died. Glad I was able to help him and get him home and all that. He would never have been able to on his own.
You have just heard An Unusual Tale, Mr. Ledbetter's Vacation, by H.G. Wells. The radio adaptation was by Lance Sieveking, and the program was produced and transcribed by Martin C. Webster in the London studios of the BBC. During the past few months, we have brought you the best of BBC, the top programs of the British Broadcasting Corporation. Today's program was the last in the current series of NBC's Showcase. This is Gene Hamilton saying thank you for listening.